Hi, everyone, and welcome back to English with Friends channel. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Whether you're a regular subscriber or you're just joining us for the first time, I want to say thank you for stopping by. I'm Adam, and on this channel, we dive deep into all things English. Whether it's language learning, cultural insights, or tips to improve your speaking, writing, and everything in between. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button so you don't miss out on any of our future content. With introduction. So today, we're going to talk about something that many of us struggle with when it comes to learning English: speaking. I know that it can feel intimidating at first, especially if you're not used to speaking in English on a daily basis. But don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to share some practical and fun ways to improve your English speaking ability. Whether you're looking to feel more confident in conversations, express yourself more clearly, or just want to sound more like a native speaker, these tips will help you take your speaking skills to the next level. Why speaking is important. Before we jump into the tips, let's quickly talk about why speaking is so important. Of course, we all know that learning a language is not just about reading or writing. Speaking is the key to communicating with others. Whether it's in a classroom, at work, or when you're traveling to an English-speaking country. The more comfortable you get with speaking, the easier it becomes to connect with people and express your thoughts, opinions, and emotions. But let's be honest, sometimes speaking in English can be a challenge. We might be afraid of making mistakes or feel nervous about not understanding someone. That's completely normal. The good news is there are specific things you can do to overcome those fears and get better at speaking. So let's break it down step by step. Tip 1, practice, practice, practice. Okay, let's start with the most obvious tip: practice. But what does that actually mean? It's not just about reading or listening. It's about actively using English in conversation. You need to put yourself out there and speak as much as possible, even if it's just with yourself at first. Talking to yourself might feel a little weird, but it's an excellent way to start getting used to the sound of English and forming sentences on the fly. Here are a few ways you can practice. 1. Speak out loud when you read. Whether you're reading a book, article, or even subtitles on a video, try reading them out loud. This helps with pronunciation and helps you get used to the rhythm of speaking in English. 2. Language exchange partners. Find someone to practice with, whether it's a friend, tutor, or language exchange partner. Having someone to talk to regularly is one of the best ways to improve. 3. Record yourself. This might feel strange at first, but recording yourself speaking is a great way to track your progress. You can listen to how you sound, see where you need to improve, and notice mistakes you might not have caught while speaking. Tip 2. Listen actively. Listening is just as important as speaking. To speak better, you need to understand how English sounds in real conversations. Watching TV shows, movies, or listening to podcasts and audiobooks is a great way to expose yourself to different accents, vocabulary, and idiomatic expressions. But don't just listen passively, be an active listener. When you listen to someone speaking in English, try to pay attention to how they pronounce words, the tone of their voice, and how they structure their sentences. Repeat phrases or sentences that you find interesting or useful and try to mimic them. Tip 3. Expand your vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier it is to express yourself in different situations. This doesn't mean memorizing a huge list of random words, though some vocabulary practice is important. What it means is learning words and phrases that are actually useful in everyday conversations. Start by learning vocabulary related to topics you're interested in. If you love cooking, for example, learn the words and expressions that relate to food and recipes. If you're into sports, learn the vocabulary associated with that. This way, you'll feel more motivated and confident when speaking about topics you care about. Tip 4. Focus on pronunciation. Pronunciation can be tricky in English, but it's essential for being understood. Many English learners struggle with certain sounds like the ETH sound in words like think or this, or the difference between ship and sheep. To improve your pronunciation, 1. Listen and repeat. This is where listening and speaking practice come in. When you hear native speakers, imitate how they pronounce words and sentences. 2. Use pronunciation apps. There are lots of apps available that focus specifically on improving pronunciation, like Forvo or the Elsa Speak app. These tools can help you get better at those tricky sounds. 3. Slow down. Don't rush when speaking. It's better to speak slowly and clearly than to rush and mumble. Slowing down will also help you focus more on your pronunciation and the words you use. Tip 5. Use English in daily life. One of the best ways to get better at speaking is by integrating English into your daily routine. This doesn't mean you have to speak with someone all the time, but try to use English in practical situations. Think in English. Try thinking in English throughout your day. When you're getting ready in the morning, for example, think about the things you're doing in English, e.g., I'm brushing my teeth now. Write your to-do list in English. Whether it's shopping lists, reminders, or notes for yourself, write them in English. This will help you build your vocabulary and get used to thinking in the language. Change your phone settings to English. This is a simple trick, but it's effective. By switching your phone to English, you'll be exposed to new vocabulary and context every day. Tip 6. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Let's be honest. Making mistakes is part of the learning process. If you're afraid to make mistakes, you might never speak at all. But here's the truth. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The important thing is to keep going and learn from those mistakes. If you say something wrong, don't be discouraged. Correct it, learn from it, and keep practicing. Tip 7. Join English-speaking communities. A great way to practice English is by joining online communities where people speak English. These communities can be forums, Facebook groups, Discord channels, or even language learning apps like HelloTalk or Tandem. Engaging in these spaces will give you the opportunity to practice speaking in real-world contexts, ask questions, and interact with others who are also learning. Plus, it's a great way to make new friends and find support during your language learning journey. One of the best aspects of these communities is that they're often very welcoming and understand the challenges of learning a new language. It's a safe space where you can practice without fear of judgment. Tip 8. Mimic native speakers. If you want to sound more like a native speaker, a fantastic technique is to mimic them. This is often called shadowing, and it's one of the most effective ways to improve your fluency. Find a video or audio recording of a native speaker, maybe someone you enjoy watching, like a TV host, YouTuber, or actor, and listen carefully to their speech patterns, tone, and rhythm. Once you've heard a sentence or phrase, Pause the video and repeat what they said, trying to mimic their intonation, speed, and pronunciation. Do this several times to help train your mouth to form the sounds naturally. The more you practice this, the more it will feel like second nature. Tip 9. Learn phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions. English speakers often use phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions in everyday conversations, and knowing them can make a huge difference in sounding natural. For example, expressions like, I'm running late, or let's catch up soon, are used all the time. Learning these will help you sound more fluent and less like someone reading from a textbook. Here's a tip. Instead of memorizing a list of phrasal verbs, try learning them in context. When you hear someone use a phrase or expression you don't understand, take note of it and look up its meaning. Try using it in a sentence of your own. Tip 10. Be consistent. One of the most important factors in improving your speaking ability is consistency. Learning a language isn't something that happens overnight, and you need to make speaking practice a regular part of your routine. Set aside time each day to practice speaking, even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes. The more consistent you are, the faster you'll see progress. Here's an idea. Set a small goal for yourself every day, like learning 3 new phrases or speaking for 5 minutes with a language partner. As you accomplish these small goals, you'll build momentum and feel more confident in your speaking abilities. Tip 11. Be patient with yourself. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes we get frustrated when we don't see quick progress or when we make the same mistakes repeatedly. But trust me, every time you speak, even if you feel like you're not perfect, you're getting closer to fluency. Celebrate your small victories, like having a conversation in English without stopping, or understanding a new phrase without needing a translation. Every step forward is progress. Remember, you're not in a race. Enjoy the journey, embrace the mistakes, and trust that over time, your speaking ability will improve. Tip 12. Focus on fluency, not perfection. Many learners get caught up in the idea that they need to speak perfectly in order to be understood. While it's important to work on accuracy, fluency should be your main focus. Fluency means being able to speak easily and without hesitation, even if you make a few mistakes along the way. If you worry too much about making every sentence grammatically perfect, you might freeze up during conversations. Instead, practice speaking smoothly. It's more important to express your ideas clearly and comfortably than to stress over every word. When you focus on fluency, your confidence will grow, and with time, your accuracy will improve naturally. Tip 13. Engage in conversation whenever you can. The best way to practice speaking is by actually having conversations. This might sound obvious, but sometimes we forget the most effective way to learn. The more you talk, the more you learn. Whether you're having a conversation with a friend, a tutor, or even a stranger, every conversation helps improve your speaking skills. If you don't have anyone to talk to, don't worry. You can join language exchange websites like Tandem, HelloTalk, or even find conversation partners on social media. Practice doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be regular. Start with simple sentences and build up from there. Don't shy away from conversations, even if you feel nervous or unprepared. Every conversation is a learning opportunity. Tip 14. Use technology to your advantage. We live in a digital age where there are countless resources at our fingertips to help us improve our language skills. One of the most effective tools for practicing speaking is language learning apps. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise offer speaking exercises that you can do anywhere, anytime. You can also use speech recognition apps like Google Translate or Siri to help you with pronunciation. These apps can evaluate your speech and provide instant feedback, which is useful for improving your accuracy and fluency. Additionally, watch YouTube channels, listen to podcasts, and explore online courses to immerse yourself in different accents, speaking styles, and vocabulary. The more exposure you get to different types of English, the better prepared you'll be to communicate in a variety of situations. Tip 15. Participate in English classes or workshops. If you feel like you need more structured guidance, taking English classes or attending workshops can be a great way to accelerate your progress. Many schools and online platforms offer conversation-focused lessons that specifically target speaking skills. In a class, you can practice speaking with others in a supportive environment, guided by an experienced teacher. Plus, learning in a group setting allows you to receive feedback and ask questions that may come up during your practice. If classes aren't accessible to you, there are plenty of free workshops and meetups available online. Tip 16. Focus on intonation and stress patterns. English is a language where intonation and stress patterns play a big role in communication. Intonation refers to the rise and fall of your voice when speaking, while stress refers to the emphasis placed on certain words in a sentence. This can drastically change the meaning of what you're saying. For example, I didn't say you stole the money. Depending on which word you stress, this sentence can mean a different thing. I didn't say you stole the money. You weren't the one who stole the money. I didn't say you stole the money. You didn't steal the money, but maybe something else. Understanding how to use intonation and stress patterns can make your speech sound more natural and easier to understand. Practice this by listening to native speakers and mimicking how they emphasize words in different contexts. Tip 17. Read aloud and record your speech. Another effective technique for improving your speaking skills is reading aloud. This exercise helps with fluency, pronunciation, and building confidence. Choose an interesting article, book, or even a script from a TV show you like and read it out loud. While you're reading, pay attention to pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. If you can, record yourself while reading. This will allow you to listen to your speech and identify areas that need improvement. It's also a great way to track your progress over time, as you'll be able to listen to older recordings and notice how much better your pronunciation and fluency have become. Tip 18. Surround yourself with English. Immersing yourself in English is one of the fastest ways to improve your speaking. If you live in an English-speaking country, this is relatively easy since you'll hear English everywhere you go. But if you don't, you can still surround yourself with English through media. Watch English movies and TV shows, listen to English music, podcasts, and audiobooks, and follow English-speaking influencers and content creators. The more you hear English in context, the more you'll internalize the sounds, phrases, and structures. Over time, this will help you naturally incorporate what you hear into your own speaking. Tip 19. Use English in real-life situations. A great way to improve speaking is by using English in real-life situations. This might mean going to a restaurant and ordering food in English, speaking to customer service over the phone, or even talking to tourists or English-speaking people in your community. The more you put yourself in the situations where you have to use English, the better prepared you'll be to handle real conversations. Try to take every opportunity to speak in English, no matter how small. The more you use English in these real-life settings, the more comfortable you'll become with everyday speaking situations. Tip 20. Stay positive and keep going. Finally, remember that language learning is a journey, not a destination. Stay positive, be patient with yourself, and celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. Some days will be easier than others, but that's normal. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep moving forward. It's important to recognize that everyone learns at their own pace. Some people may improve quickly, while others might need a little more time. There's no rush. What matters is that you're improving each day. Celebrate your efforts, stay motivated, and be proud of how far you've come. Closing thoughts. So those are my tips for improving your speaking ability in English. I hope you found them helpful and inspiring. If you follow these strategies consistently, I'm confident you'll see great improvements in your speaking skills. It might feel difficult at first, but don't give up. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and keep challenging yourself. If you have any questions or if you have other tips that have worked for you, feel free to share them in the comments below. I love hearing from you and learning together. And don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and share it with friends who might also benefit from these tips. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, practice makes perfect. Keep speaking, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and keep improving your English, my friends.